the Rockets are one of the best teams in the NBA. They've beaten the OKC Thunder. They've beaten the Cavaliers. They've beaten the Celtics. They've beaten the Grizzlies. All the teams at the very top of the league.
Yo, Rib, do yourself a favor. Back up, bro.
No. Closer.
No. Trust me, back up.
And I was looking at Logan
Wait,
and you,
wow.
Carson's,
Your
your
eyes look
lists.
insane.
What you mean?
Your eyes look
I think you look great,
insane.
bro.
It's fine, Riv. I just think you're a little bit tired. It's fine. You can back away now. But Carson and Logan, I was looking at your top 10 contenders list, and the Rockets were not there. But they've beaten the Cavaliers, they've beaten the Celtics, they've beaten OKC, they've beaten the Grizzlies, and they're not one of the top 10 contenders in the NBA.
I'll tell
Maybe
you what my
top
major
10.
concern with the Rockets is, and this is as somebody who, along with Riv, another thing we has in common is the biggest Amen Thompson fan on the planet and has been for a long time. And
Triplets.
obviously that's
Triplets.
panning out. Fuck yeah, baby, because he is the man. I've been saying he's going to be a star, and he's already
Wait,
very much on that path.
wait.
Is Dell's claiming that and it's not valid?
No, it's true.
What did you say, Carson?
One of us.
Carson.
Hey,
I said
I like
you and
the
I have
band
been the biggest
first,
Amen
guys.
Thompson fan.
I like that music before
Hey,
you.
yo, Carson, we really is.
I know, bro.
Really,
This is
we
what I'm
really
saying.
be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying. The
No,
problem is,
I give
think...
Dels credit. Dels is also here with us.
Okay, shout out to you, Dels. I
got
think that
you,
the
bro.
Rockets do have a fatal flaw when it comes to the playoffs that we have seen bite teams that are in a similar mold where they're defensive minded, they're young, they're scrappy, they're athletic, they play their asses off in the regular season. If you can't generate good half-court offense, you just lose early in the playoffs. Happens every time. You can look at the Grizzlies teams that won in the mid-50s. And by the way, they did at least have a half-court creator of the level of a Ja Morant, who isn't the best in that half-court setting, and that was a reason that they were still limited there. But he's certainly better than anybody the Rockets have. The Rockets are a 20th percentile half-court offense, man. When it comes down to those big situations where you have to grind out quality offense and you need somebody who can step up and be an elite creator, they don't have that guy. Now, I think they can easily make a move for a star, and then we can talk about launching them into like my top 7 teams maybe, because I do think their defense is phenomenal. And I love the depth that they have. There are so many dudes on this roster who I really, really like, and I've been super impressed by them. And like, I'm not trying to disrespect or rag on them at all, because I think the future is super bright, but they need that guy. And even if it were going out and getting a Zach LaVine, just having that level of shot maker on and off ball, that would take them up a tier. And big picture, I think that I would like to see them get somebody better than even a Zach LaVine. But that's my really big red flag with them. And honestly, I'm not going to move off of that just because I've seen this so many times and it's fun. And I hope that they win 50+ games. But I need to see them address that issue when it comes to winning playoff series.
Oh, I'll go. This team reminds me of Memphis, just in terms of just the new kids on the block. You know, they don't have that one lone breakout star, but they have guys with that moxie, that star aura, that star swag in Jaylen Green. So you have that. You have a team that's now beating all of the talent, the top talent in the league, kind of like how Memphis was, you know, having an elite defense, but having that one struggle, and that's a half-court offense. Now, I think we can all agree Ja Morant on that team is so much better than everybody on this team. You know, so I can see where Carson is with, if Ja couldn't really do it, I don't really know how this Houston team can do it, because you think Jaylen Green has the ability, but it's not a consistent. We don't know if it's going to be a consistent thing in the playoffs. Sengun still has ways to go. I do feel like he's a slightly inefficient scorer in crunch times at times. And I think you have guys like Amen Thompson, who, how are you going to, you know, can he play the same way in the playoffs? Can that translate where you have half-court offenses? Everything does slow down. You now need to find pace. Can he hit that 3-ball when it matters? You know, same thing with Tari Eason. He's not that efficient as a shooter either. You know, that's another guy who you're thinking, can he be that in the playoffs? Dylan Brooks, you know, his struggles as a scorer, a shooter in the playoffs. So this team, Fred VanVleet's another one too. So this team, I think, in the half court, you're going to need it. I don't think they're ready yet. They could have a magical run, though. We've seen, you know, Indiana Pacers a couple years before. We've seen the Miami Heat. So every 2, 3, 4 years, like
Pacers last year.
Yeah, like we've got some Cinderella stories, so maybe they could be that. But I'm with Carson on the side of, I think maybe they can, you know, win a first round playoff matchup, because right now, what if they get a Dallas that's healthy as a 7 seed? You know, Dallas is sitting at like 9-8. Then it's like, damn. You trust Dallas in that situation. What if Denver falls Denver stays at 6 or drops to 6 and they get Denver in the first round? Now you're looking at Denver versus Houston. You're very comfortable in that matchup that you'll take the Joker. So, the West right now got a lot of good teams that are right now just dealing with injuries anyway. So Houston being a first round exit is very likely depending on who they play. But, I think you trade for nobody at the deadline. I think you ride out, see what you have in this roster and start making a better move to get a better player, because I do love Zach LaVine's game. It's the contract, the money, and how long it lasts into his career, which he's already dealing with a ton of injuries that I wouldn't bank on that. And I think Jaylen Green can be a Zach LaVine type level player down the road. So I think you go and you wait and you keep Jaylen Green to send him out for a much, much better star.
That was literally my player comp for Jaylen Green as a prospect.
Yeah,
I saw the shot creation. I saw the shot making. I saw the athleticism. The problem is the shot making has not even been close. Zach LaVine is an elite shooter of the basketball. Jaylen Green has been a very middling shooter and just hasn't gotten better by nearly enough for me to bank on him. The playmaking stuff is still bad. The defensive stuff, the inconsistency, man, night to night is just so brutal with the shot selection and just the variance with the 3-ball overall. I know this is going to hurt you, Drew. I would be very, very willing to part ways with Jaylen Green. Before that extension kicks in, I'm good with it. He's not somebody I want to pay $35+ million a year. And if he's somebody I can dangle out there to upgrade to an actual star who I know is a star, when I like so much of this roster around him, I'm doing it.
You want to do it this early, though?
That's exactly where I'm going into. So
I get it. I don't think you have to force it, but I think there's the perspective of like, well, you got a good thing going. Why would you mess with it? My argument would be, well, it's a good thing for now, but we do know how it's going to end. Like, it's not going to result in a deep playoff run. And so if you can get a lot better and you can do it without like really compromising your draft capital, which they could do if they include Jaylen Green in a deal for like a Zach LaVine, or without really taking on a contract that is much more painful, because Zach LaVine will make $12-15 million more than Jaylen Green will on his extension. And Zach LaVine's 29. And I get some of the health stuff, but he is just such a massive upgrade. I would be good with a deal like that. It doesn't have to be this year, but if they want to be a team that I view as like a contender, then it does have to happen.
So the only reason why I wouldn't make that move this year is because, like you guys are saying, they're the new kids on the block. They've arrived this season, and it's with this young core that's finally coming into fruition in 2024, 2025. Now, Jaylen Green has had he had a great start to his January. His last few games, he's come back to earth and gone back to playing at the level that we've seen a majority of the season. The thing why I can't quit Jaylen Green, I simply can't, is because I see these moments, and when he is playing at that level, it just gives me so much hope in what this offense can potentially be and what he can potentially be. We mentioned Zach LaVine. The season that I can't shake was when he was 50, 40, 85 on, 27 points per game. Zach LaVine was incredible. But when you look at the athleticism that Jaylen Green has, his ability to finish near the basket, the issue is, again, it's the three-point shot that's so inconsistent. The amount of attempts that he's taking. I look at this team, it's too early to make a move. See where you can go with Jaylen Green. See where you can go with Alperen Şengün, Amen Thompson. You have Fred VanVleet, who, in my opinion, we talk about Jaylen Green making 35. Fred's making 40. And on the offensive side, he's been arguably worse than Jaylen Green. His efficiency, the fact that Jaylen Green is more efficient than
Fred's a better
Şengün.
playmaker.
I mean,
fair enough, obviously, no doubt. But the fact that Şengün and both Fred VanVleet are not as efficient scorers as Jaylen Green speaks to the offense as a whole. And the reason why Jaylen Green gets singled out, and for fair reason, is because that's his job. His main job is to be their offensive scorer, I don't want to say hub, because obviously the ball goes through Şengün and he initiates a lot, but his job is to score the basketball at an efficient clip, and he's not doing that night in, night out. You see where you can go with this Rockets team, because right now they're 18-9 against teams above 500. They have the second most wins against these teams, only to OKC. The fact that they are a top 10 an offensive rating, which I agree with you. I think that that's just a number. I think that in their half court, I think as their offense as a whole, not an efficient offense, not a great shooting team. but their defense is legit. They have a top 5 defense. They have one of the better defenses in the league, and they've shown against stout competition they can contend. I think you let this year's team run its course, see where you need to adjust come end of the season. But with the way that they play, with the energy that they play, especially on the defensive side of the ball, the fact that Amen Thompson's taken another leap in his game, and we're about to approach the month of February, it's just too much to give up on so quickly, that I think of going in and trying to trade for a guy like Zach LaVine, who, like we all understand, he's amazing. Zach LaVine's one of my favorite players to watch. The injury history is what scares me off of trading a young piece in a Jaylen Green, who I don't know if we've seen his consistent ceiling just yet. I understand it's inconsistent. His game is inconsistent, but we've seen how awesome he can be when he's at his peak. And I can't give up on that just yet, especially this early into his career. The Rockets are fun. The Rockets are one of the most fun teams to watch in the NBA right now, and I just can't see them making a move to ruin what has been one of the best stories in basketball this season.
My problem with the highs with Jaylen Green is that he shoots 50% from 3 for 10 games, and that's really it. That's the difference. It's not like his process gets better. It's just he gets super hot. And then
but can you just
cold.
come to 39? Come to 38, 39. I'm not saying shoot 50%.
No, he's never come
that
close
is
to that
unreasonable. But that's where I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. Can Jaylen Green, for a consistent stretch of a season, go and shoot around 37 to 39% from 3? I think that's a place where we can live.
Sucks.
It's just hard, man. Like, I get it. If you're a Jaylen Green fan, I understand you want to believe, but like everybody talks about March last year, right? And they ignore that in February he shot 26% from 3, and in April.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Terrible in both those months. Like, it's just not nearly enough for me to say you are a key building block of my franchise.
He's young.
No, that's pretty bad.
He's in his 4th year.
I think the Rockets have the luxury of just being patient, though, because like Zach LaVine, I think he makes the Rockets so much more better right now. That's without a doubt. But why strap yourself to a Zach LaVine when I think you can wait until the offseason, see if the Suns are just completely in rebuild mode?
I don't hate this.
Call up and try to get Devin Booker. I think
Would you like De'Aaron Fox more than LaVine because of age and health?
No.
Okay.
I want Amen Thompson to have the ball as much as possible. I think you got to build around him for the future, and he has to be the lead ball handler. I think another complementary piece like Devin Booker would be the best for the Rockets because he can shoot. You know, we know he has a versatile offensive package. I think they should be patient. I think the Rockets, they're a great story. They're the 2nd seed. I think they're a first-round exit. I don't see them winning a playoff series, and that's good. That they're 2 steps ahead of where they were last year, where they didn't make the play-in. Now, not only are they bypassing the play-in, but they're making the playoffs as a home favorite. Yep. So I think that they have a lot of potential, but the half-court offense scares me. It's the shooting, the lack thereof that they have, and I think Şengün has to take another step in his game, finishing around the basket.
He's super inefficient.
I think if he can finish at a great clip around the basket, I think we're talking about an all-NBA player. But that really
Jaylen
is
Green
holding him back.
From 3. We're talking about one of the best shooting guards in the league.
I understand that, but I think Alperen Şengün has just shown that he still affects the game at a high level.
Yes.
And Jaylen Green doesn't. So I think Şengün's defense has improved. I think his playmaking has always been really great. But what needs to improve is that interior finishing. If he can be a more imposing, dominant force, I think that can bring the Rockets out of what is one of the worst half-court offenses in the NBA.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think right now, whether you're training for Devin Booker down the line, De'Aaron Fox, in my head, Amen Thompson is our future superstar. And as you mentioned, Joel, he is the lead guard in this team. I want him to be making decisions because for still how like raw he is as a player, he's still so refined because to not really have a jump shot and still be able to get to the rim. And I know you rely on a lot of athleticism, but even the game winning shot he had on Jaylen Brown, where he goes to the rim, kind of a slow step euro to create space. Like he has these skills that you wouldn't expect a year 2 player who offensively we did not think was going to be probably anywhere close to this so early on in year 2. Whatever move I'm making in mind, like this has to fit around Amen Thompson because if this doesn't work, he has to be the leader of this team. Defensively, we know how great he's going to be, but offensively, I'm looking at this guy, and I shouldn't say offensively, but as a whole, the way we've looked at Ja Morant, LaMelo Ball, Scotty Barnes, all of these like young superstars in the last few years, that's how Amen Thompson should be looked at. I don't know if just because it's still early and this is like his first true breakout season, the season hasn't ended, he hasn't played the playoffs. But if you were hyping up those guys to be potential top 10 guys, top 5 guys, there's no reason why Amen Thompson shouldn't be in that same conversation. I know defensively, he's going to be one of, if not the best defender in the NFL, NBA. If you just take out Wemby, but in terms of guards and people who are guarding the perimeter, he's probably going to be the best for a decade. And offensively, it's just all upside right now, because if he's this good this early, you can only start to imagine and daydream and drool over what this guy could be in the next 3 to 4 seasons. I know Ribs with me right there. So I think what they do or don't do really at the deadline is super important. But I'm building this team not around Jaylen Green, not around Şengün, who's been the second least efficient center, by the way, only ahead of Bam Adebayo this year. It's been really ugly. I'm building this team around Amen Thompson.
Yeah, no, listen, Amen is a beast, and I think it makes the thing is, like, a Devin Booker, if he becomes available, that'd be dope. Maybe a Kevin Durant, or something like that. But just Zach LaVine, I don't know if he can be your guy, to head to a WCF or to head to a championship. I love Zach. I think Zach's still very volatile as a playmaker, as a passer. He still doesn't make the smartest reads. As a scorer, he's one of those dudes, and that's why I think him and Amen would be dope. I wish it would be for less money. Like, if he was getting a Jaylen Green contract, it'd be fucking lit, But I think he just makes too much money. Of course,
he's too good to make Jaylen Green money.
And I agree with you. He's a dog, and I think he actually fits perfectly into a slotted number 2 role. But it's just, I think you have to just go with what you have right now. You have a lot of potential on the roster.
Hey guys, I have a question for you guys. Carson, you can finish your statement, then I'll go into my question.
I was just gonna say, you guys make a very good pitch with the idea of waiting for a book trade. That to me is the trade that if I feel confident I can make that happen, I'd wait for that over Zach LaVine, because I think he's perfect. I think he brings the combination of on-ball and off-ball offense that you're looking for, and obviously he's a level up from LaVine, and he's younger. He's on your timeline.